Now, I consider myself a man of pop culture, not because I collect home videos or merchandise of my favorite franchises, no. I'm a man of pop culture because for a year now I've been a fan of the Chuck E. Cheese character, Pasqually P. Pieplate. I have no idea why I really like this character, well, besides being quite hilarious. Pasquale has a fairly interesting backstory as well, as it's written on the official Chuck E. Cheese's website. The story goes something like this. Pasquale's family moved from Naples, Italy to America shortly after his birth. They opened up a restaurant in New York and named it after their son, in hopes that he would take over the restaurant in the future. From the very start, Pasquale had pizza making in his blood. He isolated himself from the other kids so he can focus on making a pizza as good as his family's. He was even able to teach his younger sister, Paola, the ropes of the family business. By the time he memorized the family recipe and mastered the making of pizza, he was ready to take on the family restaurant while his parents retired and moved to Florida. Man, he is such a great character. It's a shame how he's such an unpopular character, but fortunately, this guy was actually able to get a plush of himself. 6 of them actually, all released from 1992, 1996, and 1998 respectively. In this video, I'll be going over everything you need to know about these plushes. I'll also be stating each plush's pros and cons. Anyways, let's talk about the history of these plushes. From the information I gathered, these Pasquale plushes were not available in retail stores or in UFO catchers. Instead, they were available at your local Chuck E. Cheese's. It was being sold at the prize counter, meaning that you had to win one of these via tickets or spend your hard-earned cash on them. The 1996 and 1998 plushes are confirmed to be made by the company Dennis Fulland. The company has been making Chuck E. Cheese plushes since the 90s and still makes plushes for CEC today. The 1992 plushes don't credit Dennis Fulland for making them, but since the pattern on them are identical to the future plushes, I'm gonna assume that Dennis Fulland made the 1992 plushes as well. Anyways, let's get on to the video, starting with the 1992 plushes. Let's start off with the 9-inch plush. For the first ever plush of Pasquale, this plush looks pretty good. All the needed details are there, and the plush's eyes are made of plastic. Of course, this plush is not perfect compared to the 16-inch one that we'll talk about later. He's pretty short looking. He also has too much of the fuzzy hair and mustache, and overall looks just a tad bit off in comparison. His laces are made of string, and his apron and neckerchief are all tied together. You can untie him if you want, but I wouldn't recommend it as it can ruin the plush, but it can be done. His touch tag is on the back of the plush, and he has the Chuck E. Cheese logo in cursive, which was the font of the logo at the time. He is also much flatter compared to the 16-inch plush. Obviously, this plush was based off of the current Pasquale's classic look that was used in the shows, mascots, animatronics, and of course, merchandise. His hat is stitched to the plush's head, and can be removed by ripping off a few seams, which I also don't recommend doing that. Also, his mustache is shaped to look like how it is. Overall, this is a pretty nice plush. The materials they used are great and has all the details needed for a Pasquale plush, even if it's not as well executed as, say, the 16-inch one. Oh yeah, I should also talk about the value of these plushes. All of the plushes made for him are pretty rare, so they won't show up often on eBay, and they're usually around $30 to $60. They can go for less if they're in bad condition, since I have seen them with missing aprons and such. I'd say the 1992 plushes are more common than the other ones. You'll probably have a better chance finding one of them compared to, say, one of the 1998 plushes. But don't worry, we're not done with the year 1992 yet, as we're moving on to the 16-inch plush from that same year. This is the only Pasquale plush that I actually own. This is the 16-inch one that came out the same year as the 9-inch one. In comparison, he is much taller compared to the current Chuck E. Cheese plushes that you can get today. Though the scaling does sound about right, since in the animated Christmas short, Pasquale is canonically taller than Chucky, Helen, and Jasper. The one I have is in really good shape for its day and age. His hair and mustache is not overly fuzzy, and his mouth is more noticeable on this one compared to the 9-inch's mouth. He doesn't look as flat as the smaller plush, and doesn't look as short as the small one. Also, instead of him being in a sitting position, he's in a standing position. This goes for every Pasquale plush except for the last ones. There's not really much to talk about him, since he's basically the same as the 9-inch plush, only bigger and better. I love this plush a lot, and I'm really glad this guy exists. I'm so happy that people were paid to design, pattern, and manufacture a plush of a pizza chain mascot. Now when I go to the computer to order a delicious pepperoni pizza, he can be there with me. He can follow me as I go onto Domino's website, pay for the food there, and wait for the delivery boy to get here. He can even be there when I take it out of the box and take my first bite out of that warm, juicy, mouth-watering Domino's pizza. Pasqually is close to being one of my favorite plushes ever. It's great that an accurate plush of the character exists, especially since the next plushes get progressively worse as time goes on. We had to wait for 4 years until a new Pasqually plush was made. Of course, we got a new plush set, as always. Not only did the plushes have 9-inch and 16-inch versions of them, but some also got them in 21 inches. Unfortunately, Pasqually seems to be the only character not to get a 21-inch plush. Such a shame that he didn't get the 21-inch treatment. Imagine a huge Pasqually plush sitting somewhere in your house. That would be awesome. Anyways, we've gotten a new 9-inch and 16-inch plush of Pasqually. Unfortunately, this is the turn-off point where the Pasqually plushes became watered down. The hair still looks fine, but since the mustache isn't shaped to look like that of Pasqually's, you basically have a fuzzy fat caterpillar on his foremouth. His arms also look broad-shouldered, that he looks like he came out of the early Star Wars Power of the Force line. Also, they shortened his apron, which doesn't look too good. His eyes are spread a bit too wide, and not to mention that some of the releases of these plushes have mouths while others don't. These are just not good plushes because of how off the proportions are on these two. But what about the pros on these guys? Surely they have some redeeming qualities to them. Well, they do. The string on the laces are replaced with ribbon material, which makes the plushes unique. Also, not only is this a plush of the character, but he's also a posable plush. Yes, they put wires inside the plush so you can pose them. That's very cool and something you don't see on Chuck E. Cheese plushes that often. One more thing I need to mention, the touch tag on those two plushes are on the side of their legs, instead of on the back like the previous two were. It also has the current Chuck E. Cheese's logo in black. This plush is pretty cool for his wires inside, as well as trying to be unique compared to the 1992 plushes. Both the 9-inch and 16-inch plushes from that year are also hard to find, and usually cost around the same price, and they're less common than the 1992 ones. 1992 and 1996 came along, and we had to wait for 2 years until another Pasqually plush was made. This is also the last time Pasqually got any new plushes. 1998 saw the release of the last two Pasqually plushes, one that's 9 inches and the other 16 inches. And now, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the worst Pasqually plushes ever made. What on earth was Dennis Fullen thinking? This plush is extremely questionable. He still has the ribbon-made laces, but why are his shoes fuzzy now? I do like how they improved the length of his apron, but the main drawback on those plushes are his hair and mustache. They took the fuzzy thing way too seriously. I mean, he has so much hair, not to mention that his mustache covers up the entire mouth area. Which leads to the question, did those plushes ever have mouths? Probably not. I guess they did fix the arms to make it look less broad-shouldered. Also, what's interesting about these two plushes is that unlike the previous Pasqualles that are in a standing position, the 1998 plushes have them in a sitting position. Also, the touch tags now have the Chuck E. Cheese's logo in red. Still, the cons outweigh the pros on these plushes. I don't recommend getting these two plushes at all, unless if you're a CEC collector, or if you're like me, have an obsession with Pasqually. Fortunately, the 1998 plushes are the hardest to find out of all of them. Unfortunately, 1998 was the last time Pasqually got any new plushes. Yep, as of me recording this video, we haven't seen Pasqually in plush form in 21 years. He hasn't appeared in any other set after that. He wasn't in the tie-dye set from 2001, nor is he in the current Rockstar plush set. That's a very long time, and with the current Pasqually's recent change, I'd say he's due for a new plush. What gets me is that these 6 Pasqually plushes are the only ways to get a plush of them, and they're usually not easy to find or dirt cheap to get. There is no reason as to why we could have gotten a new 10-inch or even 32-inch plush of them. Does this sound familiar? Yeah, they did the same thing with the other characters. Why aren't they doing it with Pasquale? And it's not just Plushes, he has yet to get an action figure of himself. Look at his design. Not only is he an Italian chef, but he also has a resemblance to that of Super Mario. Since Mario is pretty well known by children and grown-ups, it would make sense for them to make Pasquale, since people will go out of their ways to get their hands on anything Mario. One common belief is that he's a human chef, and that he may not be as marketable as, say, his animal friends. But if that was truly the case, then how come the Swedish chef from the Muppets got a couple plushes? The most recent release of him was in 2015, made to promote the film Muppets Most Wanted. You could say that the Swedish chef looks more cartoony than Pasquale, but come on, they both appear in puppet form. If you think about it, there's literally no reason why CEC refuses to make new Pasquale merch. I mean, how could you say no to this guy? And how come Pasquale has yet to get a new plush, but the likes of Mr. Munch did? You know, the purple monster that has the least interesting backstory, who doesn't fit well into the restaurant's theming? Maybe CEC has no faith in Pasquale. Maybe he won't sell well without the other characters. Obviously, it should not be true, and hopefully they realize that soon. Pasquale has fans too. Okay, I guess he only has one fan, but still, one fan is enough. Many Pasquale fans love the character, so they deserve better, and are definitely interested in collecting more merch of their favorite character. What a shame, such a character like Pasquale has to get treated so poorly.
Pasquale, I've had enough of this. I give up. I'm out of here.
Seriously, Pasquale?
Sheesh. Come on, Jasper.
I told you guys, Pasquale wouldn't be able to play this game. Nobody ever listens to Jasper.
I guess the song is over.
And that's all the Pasquale plushes we've talked about. Love them or hate them, there's no doubt that these Pasquales have gotten some artistic design choices. Whether it's the highly accurate 1992 plushes, the mediocre 1996 plushes, or the atrocious 1998 plushes, these Pasquale plushes, in the end, are nothing but cheap arcade prizes for Chuck E. Cheese's visitors. Even though they use an outdated look, these plushes have a lot of charm to them. If you are interested in owning one of them, I highly recommend the 16-inch plush from 1992. But you must know that these plushes don't show up on eBay very often, so you'll have to wait a little while. And if you're wanting to get one much cheaper than, say, $40, then that means a lot more waiting. What I'm trying to say is that if you're looking for any of these Pasquale plushes, be patient, and hope that one day, one will show up. Good luck trying to find him. And as for CEC, hopefully with the new Pasquale mascot being introduced, they'll make a new plush of him at some point. But only time will tell. As for me, I'll just stick with the plush I have until the new one comes out. This isn't much of a review and more of a retrospect, and I hope you Pasquale fans enjoyed this look back, and thanks for watching.